From the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is the SDM Show with your host, Rob Cairns. The SDM Show focuses on business, life, productivity, digital marketing, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Here is Rob.
Hey everybody, I'm Rob Cairns. I'm the founder, CEO, and Chief Digital Strategist at Stunning Digital Marketing. In today's podcast, I have John Mest with me, and we're going to talk all about brand visibility and those two important words, AI. This is one conversation you want to check out for your business. Sit back, relax, enjoy this. The SDM Show is brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, the digital marketing concierge that helps you put all your marketing pieces together. We are your marketing experts. We are also your WordPress security experts and know how to lock down a website and protect yourself from bad actors. So contact us at Stunning Digital Marketing today. Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here. And today I have my guest, Mr. John Mest with me. Hey John, how are you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks, Rob. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for joining me. Today we talk about brand visibility and AI. And I hate to go down there and people with this podcast are going to say, there I go again, mentioning those two words AI. But as marketers, that's unfortunately just the reality of it all. But before we jump in, I want to know a little bit about your story and your background. How'd you end up working with brand visibility and AI? Can you share that for the listeners, please?
Yeah, it's a fun little journey. It's not exactly the prototypical path, I guess, where we are. But yeah,
Mm.
I was kind of always a math and engineering brain, studied engineering in
Yep.
university, ended up coming out to New York and working on Wall Street for a couple of years in M&A, really just for the sole purpose of learning how companies operate and function and work. Ended up joining a few different startups, wearing many different hats from kind of being writing code to writing code and selling my products to, just doing customer
Yep.
success kind of across the board, just wore many different hats and learned the ins and outs of how, large organizations and enterprises work from like the M&A banking side all the way through like obviously the technology and operational side. Went to business school, came out, and ended up kind of learning more about kind of this landscape of marketing technology and like how we can be using AI to kind of transform and understand like different businesses that might need some innovation. Let's put it that way. So we started with the PR, the public relations world, kind of
Yep.
innovating in that space and helping kind of brands that nothing against PR agencies, but brands that don't have the money to do that or kind of just want to tell their own story in a more cost effective way. We have a solution that helps
No
them really do
question.
that really well. And that's amazing. And that we've kind of really had a great fun time kind of learning how to, I don't want to call it disrupt an industry, but, kind of provide a new opportunity for brands that might not have been able to do PR to kind of own their journey and their story there in that way. And that's through Just Reach Out. And then, yeah, ChatRank, which we'll talk much more about today around AI visibility, kind of spun from that, just our own need at Just Reach Out to like overcome the idea that we were losing traffic every day to these AI overviews. And like we were losing to like our great like high SEO links and our Google ads even that we're paying for. It's getting buried by these AI overviews. How can we get top of mind in ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity and all this? And it was like we did it, we built it for ourselves and then productized it for others. And that's kind of what led us to here. It's truly like we built it to win and succeed for ourselves. It does, and now we've kind of built that for others as well.
Yeah, that's so cool. And one of the things you mentioned was you worked in the PR environment at one time. And it's
Yeah.
interesting, PR and marketing overlaps all over the place. And as far as I'm concerned, PR agencies in a lot of big companies, and I work with a couple of big Fortune 500s, they're disconnected from the marketing side and vice versa. And that's a big, big problem, don't you think?
I agree. PR can be used in many different ways. Sure, PR can be, a press release about your new executive that joined the firm, or a press release about, a customer that just signed. That's a version of PR. But
Yep.
no, PR is
Yep.
all about getting your brand out there, having like not just what you say about yourself, but have others how others perceive you, and kind of influencing that in the best way possible. That is marketing. You should be growing your sales from PR, not just doing PR for vanity metrics and for vanity like headlines. And so the
Yep.
companies understand that, really understand that, and know that I don't need to be on the cover of Forbes. A really strong trade journal in my industry might get me 3 hot new leads, whereas like the Forbes article that might be like this really big splashy thing might get me nothing. So the ones that understand that really know that PR really is tied to marketing, and even more so when it comes to AI visibility. PR and brand visibility in like different places, like a publication, like a newspaper, or trade journal, really do add that value to like making sure the LLMs understand who you are and recommend you for certain things.
No, I wholeheartedly agree with that statement. And it's worth mentioning just for fun. I am so glad I'm not the new PR hit up an astronomer today because they've kind of, and those who have been under a rock, that's about the whole Coldplay show in Boston, and all I can say is I am glad, and you're probably glad that's not our mess to clean up, isn't it?
Definitely glad. It's actually kind of funny. One of the companies I worked with back in like about 10 years ago,
Yeah.
1010 Data, they competed directly against astronomers. So I know a few of my former colleagues that actually work there now. So they've been going through it the last couple of weeks. And so
Yeah,
wish them
yeah,
the best of
yeah.
luck. It's a great company. It's a great company. I wish them the best of luck.
Yeah, unfortunately, being a great company, sometimes stupid people do stupid things. Back in the day, before I got into marketing, I was an old business systems programmer, and I worked in a company in Canada called the Independent Order Forsters, and I can mention it because the story broke in the newspaper. And they reorganized multiple times, and it turned out the then CEO was having an affair again with the senior vice president, and got caught. And one of the Toronto papers, after he resigned, broke a whole 4-page expose about what was wrong with this company. And by then I was long gone. And so and that was pre-social media. So it has happened for years. It will continue to happen. And I'm glad it's not my problem on that one. You know,
Yeah,
I
just
have to
reach
have
out's
some
all
fun.
about the positive PR, really getting your brand out there and your story out there,
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
crisis management we try to avoid.
Yeah. So you developed a AI platform to kind of
Mhm.
help brand visibility with Just Reach Out. Where did the need for that come from, and kind of how did you develop it a little bit?
Yeah, I touched on this a second ago, but I think the story is worth expanding on. So
Yeah, go ahead.
we at Just Reach Out really focused our efforts on, like what we do best, which is SEO, high brand
Yep.
visibility, kind of blog posts, getting ourselves out there, getting into other podcasts, getting into other publications, and you just like being really good. Like our Just Reach Out blog, I think it still has like a high 67 or 68 domain authority. Like we do great for just like, having a really strong content. And so like we ranked as the number one blue link for some of our core search terms, like which is great. And we supplemented that with Google Ads, just like the way that we kind of
Mhm.
are gaining. We know where our customers are. They're going to Google, they're searching, and that was it. And so we were really doing a full inbound motion for that business through like those different channels. And
Yep.
like I mentioned, like last August, it actually happened to be where there was about a 3-week period where I noticed Google hadn't charged my credit card in a while. And believe me, Google loves spending my money. And there was no, and
Oh,
I was
they
just so
love spending
surprised.
mine too. Yeah, yeah. I'm
As I
laughing
went
there.
into our system, I realized Google had spent exactly $4 of my money in the past 3 weeks. Now we
Wow.
spend thousands and thousands of dollars a month on Google ads, and they spent none of it. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, something must be broken in my campaign. I freak out. We go through it, nothing's broken. And what we realized is that our core search pages were completely usurped by an AI overview. So Google was giving away all the information, all the answers right there in this overview, and we're burying our like blue link below that and burying our ad
Yep.
even. So nobody's even
Yep.
finding our ad to click on it. And in that moment, that was our aha moment where like if Google's gonna like basically bury my ad to the point where they're gonna kind of refuse my money on the ad to like replace it with an AI overview. Now since then they've actually kind of tempered that a little bit. They've kind of made some changes there. But that moment,
Changes. Yeah.
this was enough backing for me to realize like we need to make some changes because whoever you get in this AI overview, that's free. Or I mean it takes some time, I guess, but you can't buy your way into that. How do we get in there? And it kind of brought us on this journey of exploring like how do you reverse engineer how you get into these AI overviews? How do you get into ChatGPT answers? All those things. So we
Mhm.
built this like kind of this system for ourselves, and we saw right away people were coming to us and were saying, "I saw you on Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT." Like it was just happening over and over again, and we're like,
Yep.
"This is working." And so, really, for us, like we created a new inbound channel while also fixing our other like ads and like traditional work as well. Like we found this new channel that was just helping us explode with growth. And so for that, people heard about it. We were talking about it. Eventually, we as a team were like, should we build this into a product? And we did. And that was about last December. So we've been live with customers for about 8 months now on this idea that like we kind of built this for ourselves to provide a way to expand and build a new channel for yourself. So I guess I'll just say that in that like this is not like just a visibility tool like just for the sake of visibility. what we believe in is that you should have this brand visibility to increase your pipeline, to increase your sales. And if it's not doing that, you should cancel a chat, right? You should not do this anymore. Like, it shouldn't be helpful. Like, the idea here is that you should only be investing in this space if it's actually going to grow your business. We believe it does, and our customers do too. But frankly, like, I'm happy to like talk to anybody about that, because like that doesn't, you don't need chat rank to do that. You need to understand this new channel in AI and make sure that you are set up properly for it.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And I'll give you a practical example, and it's not really about companies, but to show you where AI goes. My partner in life, she is not on any big social media sites. I shouldn't say that. She's on Facebook. She almost never uses it. She's a little bit on Instagram for perusing, but it's not her thing. And anybody who's heard this podcast knows one of the people my podcast dedicated is to her for a number of reasons. And I talked about her in an episode and why. And she said, I'm never going to show up on Google search. I said, oh, really? Let's take your name and toss it into Gemini and see what Gemini comes with it. And guess what? It pulled out the exact episode where she was featured. It pulled out the exact spot out of the show notes where she was featured, right? And then pulled out all the information. And she's like, oh my God. And I did it right in front of her. I did not pre-do it. And I actually posted the results on my personal blog if ever anybody wants to see it. And Tiz looked at me and said, oh my God. And I said, there's the powerful of AI right there.
Yeah, this is the thing where like visibility and brand visibility matters. So it's not just like,
Yeah.
obviously we'll talk more about kind of strategies for this, but yeah, writing your own content, blog content, product pages, about us pages, those are all really important to make sure that your message is strong and
Yep.
clear for the AI models to make sure your brand is visible. But yeah, anything you can be doing as far as like recording podcasts, getting out there in different blogs, like just anything you can be doing, like interacting with your customers on Reddit, on review sites, on like things like that are always positive ways to kind of build your brand awareness and your visibility for these AI models.
No question. I wholeheartedly agree. And some of the old SEO guys are being left in the dust in all of this. You know that. You do SEO. And I don't know if there's a day that doesn't go by. I was swearing at my inbox when I got up this morning. I had 6 more messages. Oh, we can't find you on Google. Um, go away. And I'm going to tell you right behind those 6 messages were 2 requests to come on the podcast. So you tell me what's go. You get where I'm going, right? There's the old traditional ways of doing things aren't always working anymore because AI is looking, and we know that more and more people. I'm lazy. When I want to find something, I go to Gemini. Gemini's my tool of choice right now. I go to Gemini and ask Gemini before I do a traditional Google search, right?
Yeah. It's just the way that people are interacting with information is changing.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not for
yeah.
everybody. I mean, Google search still owns whatever 97% of search, whatever the numbers are going to tell you. Like, they're still
Yeah.
dominating search. And like, I think the Wall Street Journal just did a piece like last week on just how Google's defending their turf in this, and it's great. I think like they're doing smart things. But frankly, I also listened to a podcast with Sundar Pichai a couple weeks ago on Lex Friedman,
Yeah.
where he was talking about like this new world. And basically, Lex asked them like, is this going to be like, is Google search going to exist in a few years from now? Is this going to be the future? And he said, basically, AI mode is going to exist, and they're going to keep seeing what features people react to and like, and just moving those features from AI mode into Google. And so eventually you're going to like see AI mode turn more into like what traditional Google search is, to the point where there's going to be a melding of the two. And basically there's going to be no difference between the traditional search and these answer engines of the future.
No
I don't know if
question.
that's 12 months from now, 3 years from now, or 6 months from now. I have no idea. But I can tell you that the world of here's 10 blue links, go find your information is ending. And the idea of tell us exactly what you need, curate a prompt, tell me what you need, have a conversation, we'll give
Yep.
you the right answer, the answer that you probably need the best, or here's a list of 3 or 5. That's the future of how people want to find information, not here's a list
Yep.
of 10 blue links. And so that everybody
No.
knows that. It's just a matter of how quickly that it gets adopted is up for interpretation.
Yeah, and if you're in the marketing business, I would say you better get on board with that now, and it might even be too late at this point. Like I hate to be like really there. All these AI naysayers better get realistic real quick because it's happening, and it's an exciting time to be in this business. I think, isn't it? It's a really good time to be here, right, John? So we were saying the biggest thing with all this happening is you almost got to get on board with this now kind of deal, because I'm of the belief that if you're an AI naysayer, you're going to get left behind. I'm a big believer that AI is not going to cost jobs. We all know what the printing press did for the printing. We all know in the web design business what page builders did for building websites. We understand that. And there's still designers and printers out there. Um, Automation is the way to go. This is another form of it. And it's still going to take experts. And it's funny because I did a sequence for a client the other day. I do a lot of email marketing, and I was using AI to build it. And I charged a lot for it. And somebody said, "Don't you think you're overcharging?" I said, "Why?" Because I have the expertise to use the tool and the client doesn't. It's still, you still need your expertise to work with AI, right?
Absolutely. I mean, so this is something where right now AI might feel intimidating to some people. I actually was just talking to a friend the other day about this, and it's like
Yep.
they said, like, I've never used these AI tools before. Like, what do I do? I said, there's nothing to do. Just try it. Like, just go in there, start having a
Mhm.
conversation, ask it where to get dinner tonight. Like, ask for a restaurant recommendation. Like, anything really
I
can start. You
know.
can start with anything. Like, if you're
I
a
know.
business, I've talked to a lot of business owners, our clients. They're like, well, I don't even know where to start. I said, well, go to ChatGPT and say, like, pretend you're a customer that should find your business. Like, say you're a med spa. Like search, like, where can I get Botox near me? I mean, it's like as simple as that, as silly as that. But basically, like those kinds of things that people are kind of intimidated by. My
Yep.
thinking is, if you're a marketer and you want to make sure your brand is set up for success in these channels, just pretend you're the customer that should be finding you. But just like you do for finding people and like targeting content for Google search. Like basically, go think about who's trying to find you. What would they be asking on a ChatGPT or a Gemini? What would they be asking? What would they be refining down to? Who is your target persona? And do you make sure that your content and your information is visible there? And basically just pretend you're a
Yep.
customer, see what comes up. And if you're not showing up, ask it why. Say, hey, ChatGPT, why did you not list my business as your answer here? And they'll tell you,
Mhm.
hey, well, because you had no reviews on Yelp, or you had nothing here, or you didn't have this. Like, it'll tell you. It'll tell you what it goes through its thinking process for that. And it's just like, you
Yep.
don't need a tool like ChatRank to do that. You just need to kind of like explore it, go start from somewhere, and just kind of just get going. That's like kind of the best piece of advice I always give to people like this, to think like, hey, I don't know, I don't think AI is the future. I don't know what's going on here. Just try it.
And one of the things I would say is, and I agree with you, by the way, is standardize on what AI products you're using and make sure you log into that product. Don't just use it in a guest mode, because AI will start to get used to how you're asking your prompts too. And one of the reasons I've chosen Gemini, and I'll be really frank, I work in a Google world, which many of us do, but I also carry a Google phone. So for me, Gemini is 100% the way to go, because on the Pixel phone it works seamless. So
Yeah.
it's just an easy. And if I'm writing in a Google Doc, I can feed it right into Gemini. If I'm using Notebook LM, which is Google's LMN product, I can use Gemini. And people say, really, does it have value? Well, one of the things I do, aside, and it's really a visibility thing, is I use Gemini for two big things, right? Actually, multiple big things. One is to do the show notes for this podcast. They're all generated by Gemini.
Mhm.
Number two is I'll take copy for a brand I'm working on, and I'll write it, and then I'll feed it into Gemini and say, please optimize this for SEO for me before I even post it. There's a good brand visibility trick right there, right?
Yeah. We always say like purely AI generated content is not going to win. We know this because the
Agree.
AI understand that, they know it, they can sense it, they know exactly what it is, and they will call you
Hmm.
out for it, and they will basically hurt you for it. But you should
Yeah.
absolutely, those of you that are not using AI to assist in your efforts for these processes, I mean, you're not doing anything wrong. I just feel like you can save yourself some time and some energy by doing that. So, for example, whenever I want to think about a new blog post for my website, the first thing I do is I explain myself to, like, usually Claude actually is pretty good at this kind of writing tech stuff for me, but I
Yep.
use all the models. I know I geek out with this. I use a lot of different ones, but I find Claude
Yep.
to be excellent writing tasks. And so I say, like, there'll be an outline. Well, how would you think about this story? And then I'll go
Hmm.
back and forth to actually feel good. Okay, this is how this story should be told. This is how this
Yep.
information should be told. And then I go write it. And you're right. And then by the end, it's like, okay, read this. Tell me what I can be doing better. Can I be doing this? Am I reusing too many words? It kind of, you can even give it a rubric. You can say, hey, these are my 10 rules for my blog post. Make sure I'm not breaking into my own rules. Like, those are great, like, kind of little tricks you can use.
Yep.
And yes, you should
Yep.
absolutely be writing your own content. But if you're not using AI to help assist with that, you're kind of just, I don't know, it's not, you might be saving yourself some time. I don't want to say you're doing anything wrong, but you could be saving yourself some time.
Yeah, and one good thing that AI generates really well is headlines or blog post topics or podcast names for an episode. So feed
Yeah.
it in and say what and say give me a couple options and look at it that way, and you'd be surprised what it comes up with. And I think it's well worth it. So we've got a product, chat rank. How does the product work and with AI and for your clients and for you guys, and kind of what does it give me?
Yeah. So ChatRank is like I said, it was built out of necessity for our own business. So the
Yep.
first thing, it does three core things. The first thing is the thing that most of the companies out there trying to like do what ChatRank is doing are focused on, but like exclusively. So I say what ChatRank really does well is it understands who you are as a business, how the AI models perceive your business based on your domain, based on your name and everything else, and then tells you,
Mm.
hey, here's what do you think about your business today. That first step of understanding, hey, based on your domain and who you are as a business, here's what we think you should be targeting. Here's what we think you're focused on, et cetera. Now, if that
Yep.
is completely wrong, that's your first problem as a business because now you know that the LLMs think something differently about your business than you think it is. That's your first step
Yep.
in understanding what's wrong and how to fix it. So from there, we help you identify what those are. You can fix your metadata in our platform, and then we go ahead and generate for you based on traffic, based on what might be interesting for your business, based on what you're telling us. What are people searching for, and what you should be thinking about being more visible in as far as different prompts. Again, prompts are not necessarily exactly keywords like in traditional search. Prompts are more natural language ways of asking like an intent-based search. And so that is kind of what we help focus on, those prompts into topics. And then we help you understand where you rank as a brand in that prompt, as well as your competition. So are you like visible half the time and like showing up at fifth place? Like that's great. Can you be getting better? Things like that. So our core foundational step is understanding your visibility and your ranking inside of those different prompts. That is like foundationally really important. We spent a lot of time getting that right, and it's constantly evolving. And we're kind of making sure our foundation that is really good. That is not where we
Yep.
stop. That is kind of just the foundation. From there, we use that data and information, and we again the LLMs will tell us this, like what citations and sources are you using to give your answers? Why do you like favor certain sites over others? All those kinds of things. We use that information, then make recommendations as to what to do. So step one is for content. Basically, what kind of content wins in that prompt? Is it more of a list-based article, like top 10 blanks, or is it like a educational post about, what is this topic or idea and how can it be improved? Or like, is it a case study, a user testimonial? Like, we'll tell you based on what we're seeing from the LLMs, what kind of content works best for that prompt, and even provide you with a template you can then use to actually write the content for that prompt.
Mm.
And so overall, like
Good.
start to finish, we'll make a recommendation for you based on what we're seeing to kind of take this action step for your content and then post it and watch yourself grow over time. That's step
Mm.
two. And then step three is site optimization. What can you be doing to your website to make sure you're optimized for the LLMs? So some things are like just like traditional SEO metrics. You don't want like long page loads. You don't want like bad headlines. You need like H1 headers and everything like that. All that kind of makes sense, and then the schema and everything of your website is important. But also just like things like, is your robots file correct? Did you have a file kind of explaining to the LLMs what you're doing? Like all those kind of fun things are built into this as well. So JotRank is all about, the core foundational step of understanding where you are and against your competition, and then use that data to understand how to beat your competition over time with content and optimizations.
Yep. Two things I want to add is I wrote a couple things down while we were talking. One was you said, where do you rank? And it tells you that. Do you know how many business owners, and I'm sure you do, don't even know where their numbers are? And I think comments like that are gold because, folks, if you're an end business, you need to know your numbers. You need to know where you're ranking. You need to know them
Yeah.
now. And if your marketing agency's not giving you that information, I suggest you fire them. And I'm going to be real bold and get a new one. I'm serious because how can you improve if you don't know your baseline? That's first thing.
Yeah.
And then you were talking all about site optimization, and I think that's so key. And I think there's a lot of, I hate to say it, website devs that don't do a good job of optimizing websites. They look pretty, but do they load slow? What's going on? Do they do stuff properly? That's really important. So I think they're the two things that kind of stand out to me in that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And so our system will automatically help you understand this, isolate it for you, and make like easy recommendations for you to take on yourself. So it's a fully self-serve platform. And because like I think like you mentioned, yes, not every company has an entire team dedicated to this. So we try to
Yep.
boil it down to as simple as possible. You don't need a team of content writers and a whole web dev team. Like basically, what we're asking you to do is very basic things that any kind of marketer or any kind of I don't know, like person, business owner can do for their own website. Like again, we don't work with just large companies. We work with individual practitioners. We work with, everything from like a franchise, like B2C business, all the way to like,
Hmm.
like large B2B, like software programs that like have hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. Like we're like
Yep. Yep.
across the board because everybody needs to be like visible. So if you're a doctor and you have focus area, like it's really important for you to like be out there, and people, when they go to Gemini and search for who's the best dermatologist in my area, you want to be front and center for that kind of query. And so like these are
Yep.
all things that you can be thinking about. It's not just, like large companies.
Yeah. And the other thing you mentioned was your competitors, and you had a bit of a conversation around that. And I think that's really important because do you know how many companies have no clue what their competitors are doing in their area? So I'll give you an example. And this is with traditional search, but it applies to AI as well. I've got a client who's one of my best friends, and they run an independent jewelry store in east of Toronto. And when you do search on their jewelry store, they outrank four of the biggest national chains, including Michael Hill, who's an international chain in Canada and US, in their area. And they know exactly what the competitors are doing. Do most people? No. They say,
Mhm.
why would I do research on my competitors? Folks, you should be using the AI to figure out what your competitors are doing as well to benefit your business, right?
Yeah. It's very simple. Like you don't have to be like fixated on your competition, but where they are means like if they're ahead of you, it means you're behind them. That's kind of like how this
Yeah,
works. So,
exactly. Yeah.
so like actually, it's funny. Like in traditional Google sense, like it's always important to be number one, number one, number one. In the AI world, like we always talk about to our brands about being in the consideration set. So you don't have to be in the
Yes.
top one, be in the top three, in the top five, in the top 10. Oftentimes, what'll
Yes.
happen is you'll say, okay, I need to go find a new, I don't know, CRM, like for example. So you're going to search, you're going to find the best CRM, but you're not just going to call the one that ChatGPT gives you. You're going to say, give me a list of five and then schedule a demo with three of them that might make the most sense for you. Like you're going to like take the consideration set and make your own decision making. It's not purely like AI. Like you're going to have a human behind the scenes making those decisions, but at the same time, so just make sure you are aware of where you are. And if your competition's ahead of you, what can you be doing to jump them? And because they're thinking about the same thing about you. So obviously you should be thinking about that as well. All of our kind of built into the tool as well to kind of help you understand all that.
Yeah, and it makes it easy. To set up the tool, is it a big setup process, or do you guys do an onboarding, or is it easy?
It's really easy to set up. So basically, what you do is you come on, you insert your first thing you do is insert your domain, your URL of your website, and then our system, like
Yep.
I said, will do that assessment. We'll say, here's who you are as a brand, and if it's exactly who you are as a brand, fantastic. You're well on your way to kind of success here. And if we are so wrong about who you are as a brand, that is your first major problem because we are using the exact same tools as OpenAI, Google, and everybody else does to assess your brand. And so if we don't get it right, that means that the models do not get it right either, and they're not recommending you for the right things. They're either sending you the wrong traffic or they're sending you no traffic. And so that's a
Yep.
foundational step that we'll have as part of our onboarding. You can figure it out yourself. Of course, you can then update your metadata to what you feel is what you want to do as a brand, and then click go. We will recommend for you different topics and prompts to track against, which of course you can edit or change yourself. And you just get started, or we'll fill in the data, help make recommendations for you, and you can get going. You never have to talk to us for a second. Now, almost all of
Yep.
our clients do take us up on the opportunity to meet with one of our team members, go through an onboarding together, like have a call. We offer that to all of our customers. But basically, if you wanted to just get started, it's really simple to just go to chatrank.ai and get going.
And what's the cost of the service, ballpark? Or does it
Yeah, so
fluctuate depending on?
we have different plans. Our core plan starts at $249 a month, and they're all on a month-to-month basis. So we don't lock you into anything
Yep.
long term because, frankly, we don't think we should. We think you should. This is such a new space. You should come in, try it, see if it works for you. If it
Yep.
doesn't, cancel and like listen. No harm, no foul. But we see that like our churn rates are basically nothing because people that come on, they follow our process. It works and they stick with us. So we're happy and they're happy.
Yeah. And is there any security issues using a product like this, or just the usual?
We're using all the publicly available data. So we're just kind of using the information that's out
Yep.
there. So again, if we're giving you information about your brand that you don't like, sorry, it's out there on the internet. Somebody's giving it to us. Like we're not making this up. This is what the
Yep.
AI models are thinking about your
Yep.
brand. And so
Yep.
we've actually worked with some brands who like see this and like have an like an shit moment in that position where
Yep.
they're like,
You
oh,
can
like
use the
this
word.
is
That's
yeah,
okay.
this is not who we want to be. We have a problem
Yep.
here. Let's go try to solve this, and then we help them work through that together because we do. It's not required by any means, but we do offer kind of a managed service program as well. If you're interested in using our team to help you do that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think, one of the things I've talked about with clients over the years, and to me, what you just said is really key, John, is use the tools to figure out what's being said about you. And it's one reasons why things like Google Alerts are so popular, because if you use them properly, and no, it's not what we're talking about, but it's a good example, is you can find out what's being said about your brand or about you or about your directors or about key people or about competitors. And if you don't know what's being said about you folks, you can't be doing damage control. You can't be changing the trajectory of what's being said. You can't be jumping in and saying, maybe we should offer this product because we've had 50 requests for it that we didn't even know.
Hmm.
These types of tools will help you figure all that out, won't they?
Yeah. So this is one of the most important things we can help identify for brands is they might
Yep.
think that they care about one thing. And we're like, that's great. You should care about that because that's what your brand like cares about the most. Own that niche, own that topic. That's great. But by the way, are you interested in these kinds of customers as well? Yeah. Okay. Well, guess what? That has really high traffic, really high volume. You should be really focused on those as well. Even if it's not your exact core demographic, if that person might be a buyer for you, they might be the kind of person you want to get in front of, take a look at that as well, and our system will help identify those for you. And so yes, well, of course you can help like shape what you want to track for and what you want to rank for, but frankly like our system will also nudge you a bit on like, hey, like by the way, you should think about this as well because this is high value,
Yep.
high traffic customers for you.
Yeah. And the other thing is the problem brands have is they sometimes get what I call tunnel vision. They see what they care about internally, not realizing their customers really care about something else. And it's always good to look at things in the marketing world from the customer perspective, not the company perspective, because you don't give your customers what they want. Guess what? They're going to find a brand that gives them what they want.
100%. And this is something that the smarter companies know this, but sometimes we do get a customer that comes to us and says, this is what we care about. And we say, that's great. We will help you get that. But also like I trust us. Like we see these are other opportunities for you. Does that matter? Do you care? And like frankly, like
Yeah.
I mean, most of them do. Like I mean, not like people do kind of come around to these things. But yes, having an open mind about like these types of opportunities is really important because again, if your goal is to grow, like we're not here to just help you like rank. We're here to help you rank and then grow your revenue and also bring in new customers and grow your business. That is our ultimate goal. And so like for us, we really focus in on how you're going to have the most success using our tool. And that's what you care about. That's what we care about. That's what makes happy customers.
Yeah, it sure does. And I love that. You guys are so customer centric, customer focused. That means everything because I think too many companies have gotten away from that since COVID too. And I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. That's a whole new podcast, my friend.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we
Um,
like I just yeah.
but it's okay.
I was gonna say we are not like some big fancy venture backed company. Like we bootstrap this business fully because frankly, like we know that like a happy customer today means we exist tomorrow, and that's how we operate our business every day. We are not here like just like burning down like a multi-million-dollar like bank account. No, we are like here and only exist today because our customers trust us and are willing to pay us for that effort. So
All right, and you should be commended for that. Um, so to kind of wrap up, if I'm a small business and I want to increase my brand visibility using AI. And I'm going to say number one, buy your product. So we'll take that one right off the table right away.
yeah.
Give me three or four things that companies should do with AI right away to help themselves.
Yeah. So these are all very, very practical things you can do. And I'm hoping that by the end of this, like I think I'm going to give three examples.
Yep,
All
that's
three,
fine.
if you take my advice and do all three, it'll take you less than 1 hour. Like that, I promise you, it's just like this is a 1 hour of your time to explore. This is a good opportunity for you. First thing, open up ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, your tool of choice, and start asking it questions about your business. Basically, if you are, like I said, if you are a jewelry store, ask like, where can I get the best jewelry in Toronto? Or I'm looking for this type of like piece for my wife's anniversary. Like, what can I like? What should we focus on? What kind of jewelry should I look for? And they kind of have those conversations with the AI to learn what are they recommending, what are they saying, and what kind of sources and citations are they using to
Yep,
recommend that. You can ask them, what is
yep,
this? Like, kind of have the conversation with the AI to learn how they're thinking about your brand and how you're thinking about sorry, your industry and your niche as well as your brand. Like that's step
yep.
one. Kind of hone in on that as a small business to learn: are you being mentioned at all? Are you in there? Are you not? Like that's free. Just go in and try that. That's like step one. Step two is take what you learned from that and then go do something about it. Like it doesn't need to be a fully blown out like SEO or like AI SEO plan. It's just like hey, you know what? I was looking around in that last step and I saw that like there's really nobody like out there owning the engagement ring industry of East Toronto. I don't know, I'm making this up. But like, I'm going to go write a blog post explaining why we are the best place to come in for an engagement ring. And here's why: it's affordability, it's trust. We've been here forever, like all these kind of fun things. And just write that piece of content. Again, have Claude or somebody help you write it, help you like kind of have them edit things for you, like provide an outline, but then go post it on your blog. And then from there, go and track it. Go back into the AI models later and ask about this and kind of do all those things to see if you're winning or kind of like getting any traction from that. That step right there, like again, those 3 steps take you maybe an hour total to do. And it's going to be hugely beneficial for your brand to learn, do I have the flexibility and power to win on this? I bet if you do that well, it's going to work. And then you're going to want to do it again and again. And like that kind of like action items you can take as a small business is like, I always say like, start somewhere. You don't have to start with a fully blown 6-month plan. Start with something, one blog post that you research yourself and go from there.
Yeah, I agree with it. Just get started, as the Nike slogan says. Just do it, and let's get going. Thanks for sharing those 3 actionable points. Those are like amazing, and I think every business owner should take those to heart. If somebody wants to find out about ChatRank, just reach out, or contact you, where are the best places to go?
Yeah, please check us out. Justreachout.io is for Just Reach Out. That's like, again, digital PR business to help you understand how to get your brand out there. Podcasts, blogs, YouTube channels, all the different socials out there are available through Just Reach Out. Great tool for digital PR. And then chatrank.ai. That is kind of where we talked about mostly today about the AI visibility. Again, both tools you can sign up directly on our pricing page and our website. Everything's fully transparent. We hate those like buttons are like, hey, we're not going to tell you our pricing until you call us. Absolutely not. You know exactly what you're getting before you sign up. And by all means, if you have questions as you're going through that, feel free to reach out to us on our websites, on our contact forms, or to me directly.
Thank you so much, my friend. This was a really informative conversation. I really appreciate you joining me.
Thanks, Rob, very much.
This podcast has been brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, your digital marketing concierge to help the business owner put all his pieces together, whether it's email marketing, WordPress security, WordPress design and development, PPC, and more. Text Stunning Digital Marketing for all your digital marketing needs today. Very special thank you to Don for joining me on this edition of the SDM Show. The SDM Show is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I miss you very much every day. My mother, Ann Cairns, who's still doing really well and is an inspiration. And of course, Tiz Maroney. And Tiz, I know I've said it, but thank you so much for all the inspiration you give me every day.